Hi, Joe here from SHUTTERSPEAK Photography. Very nice to see your smiling face again here on YouTube. So, if you own a Nikon Z camera, you know that one of the features of most Nikon Z cameras is a system called IBIS, or in-body image stabilization. And basically what it does is it helps prevent shake in the camera body when you're taking pictures. And it can be combined with vibration reduction, which is also something that's built into many Nikon Z lenses. And the two systems can work together to create really phenomenal image stabilization. Now, what happens though if you don't have a lens with vibration reduction built into it? Well, IBIS takes over. So let's say, for example, you have the Nikon 24-120 f4, the Z lens. That does not have vibration reduction, but IBIS does the job and puts, a level of stabilization in there. But let's say, for example, you had a fully manual lens like this Laowa 100mm lens. Well, IBIS should surely still work, right? Because that's in-body image stabilization. Well, it does, but not without having to go into the menus and setting a few things up first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what you need to do to get IBIS working with manual lenses. It's definitely worth taking a couple of minutes to set this up if you own a manual lens, because it's really it's going to make your lens work better. So hey, let's dig into the menus and take a look. All right, so with the assistance of Boba Fett, we are going to test some things out. So currently on my Nikon Z8, and the camera really doesn't matter which camera you're using, but I am using the Nikon Z8. Okay, I have on the Nikon 24-120 f4 Nikon Z lens. Phenomenal lens, by the way, love it. Okay, it is a non-VR lens, so vibration reduction is not built into the lens. So the system will only use the built-in IBIS, the IBIS system of the camera. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to press the I menu and I'm going to bring up the vibration reduction settings, and let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, so as you can see, vibration reduction is on. You can see the yellow box there with the little kind of wavy hand, and it clearly says on. And let's take a look at the options. So as I click in, we have the three options that I would expect to have: off, on, which is currently in the normal mode, or sport mode. And this is what we would expect to happen. So now let's switch it to a manual lens and let's compare the results. Okay, so I've now switched over to the Laowa 100mm lens. This is a fully manual lens. And you can see down at the bottom of the screen, you see the f-stop is just 2 dashes because the camera doesn't know what the f-stop is currently set to. It's set to f4, not that that matters. Okay, so let's take a look at our IBIS or vibration reduction settings currently for this lens. And it is important to note there is no vibration reduction built into this lens. So we're strictly using IBIS, the same as the 24-120. Okay, so we can see that vibration reduction is currently off. The option is actually grayed out, and you can see that the little wavy hand symbol there, it clearly says off. If we click on that option, nothing happens. Okay, so IBIS is disabled with this lens because this is a fully manual lens. However, we can make IBIS work with this lens. We just need to tell the camera a few bits of information that IBIS needs to make it work with this lens. So let's dig into the menus and let's set a few things. Okay, so I am in the menu of the Nikon Z8, but again, it doesn't matter which camera you own. They're going to be similar. We're going to head on down through the wrench. And once you're in the wrench, I want you to find non-CPU lens data. And that's what we're going to make some changes to. All right, so if you click into there, you can see there's a bunch of different lenses. You can set, a ton of different manual lenses here, but we're going to start with lens number 1. And first thing the camera needs to know to make IBIS work with this lens is what's its focal length? Well, it is a 100mm lens. So we're going to set that to 100mm. Next thing it needs to know is what is the maximum aperture of this lens. So this lens goes from f2.8 to f22, but the maximum aperture of this lens is f2.8, or it's open the widest. the minimum aperture would be 22, where it's open the smallest amount, right? So we're going to program this to 2.8. And we're going to say OK. And now we can give it a name, and we'll give it something that's meaningful to us. We'll call it the LAOA 100 because, of course, that's going to make a lot of sense, right? So we just go in here, and program this in. And then after a minute or so, once this is all set, what we're going to do is we're going to hit magnifying glass plus to save these settings. Okay, once we do that, this lens is now programmed in. And now let's check out what happens with IBIS now. Okay, so we are back to Boba Fett. And now that that information has been programmed into the camera, you can see that little wavy, shaky hand for vibration reduction, that symbol, is now set to on. So let's click into it and see what we got. And once we click in, you can see we have all the options that we would expect. We could shut off IBIS. We could set it to normal, which is the mode that it's on by default, or we could set it to sport mode. Okay, so now IBIS works with our manual lens. So you're going to need to do this for every lens that you own that's a manual lens that you want to work with IBIS. But once you do, you're going to have some vibration reduction features capable for that lens that you didn't previously have. So it's really worth the little bit of effort to make that happen. So hope this helps you out. And hey, thanks, Boba Fett. All right, YouTube, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I hope that this video has helped you out. And if it has, please help me out by hitting like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notified of future updates to this channel. And please leave me a comment and let me know what you think, even if it's just a comment on the wall of geek back there. Hey, those are the comments I actually kind of really enjoy. So, and I do try and answer almost everybody as best I can. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Okay? Bye-bye.